Road to Paris. Welcome back, everybody. This weekend is a huge race in Abu Dhabi. All of the top people contending for the Olympics are going to be there. And so you might ask yourself, well, where does this lie in the importance of all the races leading up to Paris this coming summer? This is a big test. You know, for sure, everybody's going to be looking at Alex+Yee. How's he going to do? Beth+Potter, you know, the favorites who won in Paris at the test event last year. But more important than who wins, it's going to be how each of the athletes is doing. Keep in mind, most of the athletes have not qualified for their Olympics. So a lot of them who are on that bubble, maybe they're not going to automatically qualify. They're going to want to have a huge race there in Abu Dhabi to just put another piece in place so that maybe they get selected by their country to go to Paris. But most important, it's going to be for each athlete to figure out where they are in their fitness. They've done their training, they're going to go there, they're going to have an idea of where they should be in relation to the rest of the field. And if they're falling short, now is the time to really maybe retool a bunch of stuff so that when they go to the next huge and final race of the selection process in Yokohama in May, that they're on track. Once they get to Yokohama in May, if they're still off track, it would be very hard to completely retool any of their training to get them to actually have a great race in Paris if they qualify for their country's Olympic team. So clearly on the surface, everybody's going to be looking at who's on the podium, you know, who was a factor in the race. Were there any favorites who were not a factor or who were maybe a little bit short of where we thought they would be? And if you're a favorite at this time of year to win a medal in Paris, in the Olympics here in triathlon, and you've made your country's team, you don't necessarily have to be in the best shape ever. It's very hard to maintain that absolute peak shape that probably a lot of the athletes are going to try and hit this race in. It's hard to maintain that from now, March, all the way through the end of July, early August. So maybe some of the favorites aren't going to shine the way we like to see them shine, but they might be on a different trajectory than somebody else who is struggling to make their Olympic team. But ultimately, this race in Abu Dhabi is going to be the first real test for all of the athletes in 2024 to really see where their training is at, if it's working, if their fitness is where they expect it or need it to be. And if not, they have time now to rejigger things and figure out what do I need to do so that when I get to Yokohama, I have the race that I need to then propel me into Paris. Road to Paris, it's getting exciting. I can't wait for the race this weekend. Check it out live.